All right, guys, today I've got a brand new review for you from ToolkitRC. It's the Q6AC charger. Now, it's been quite a while since I really upgraded my main charger. I've been running an iCharger 406 Duo with a DC power supply for a really long time. And you know, I haven't seen a ton of reason to upgrade, but this charger from ToolkitRC has got me really excited about trying out something new in my charging game. To be honest, if you look, you've probably seen reviews from multiple other people already on YouTube. I'm kind of behind the curve. Thank you so much for sending me this charger, ToolkitRC. But unfortunately, I had 2 work trips pop up back to back overseas and across the country, and I wasn't able to film while I was on the road, but it gave me a great chance to test out the Q6AC as not only my main, but my travel charger. And I'm gonna go over a lot of the things that make it so nice for that purpose. Now, going forward, I'm just gonna spoiler alert. This is gonna be my 100%. This is gonna be my only travel charger. There's no reason for me to take another charger on the road ever again. And secondly, it's probably gonna stay plugged in right on my desk for a couple of key reasons and features that it has, and I'm gonna let you guys know all about those as we go along. Before we go any further, I just wanna be perfectly clear that this unit was provided to me by ToolkitRC for the purposes of this review video. Now, no money changed hands. I'm not getting paid for this. They don't know what I'm gonna say in the video. If I hated it, they would have just had to deal with a video of me hating it. But it turns out I like the thing a lot. So let's dive right in and let you guys see what it's all about. Here we have the ToolkitRC Q6AC. I don't want to ramble on forever about this thing, but I do want to make sure that I give you guys a good once-over look at it. So let's talk about what you're going to find on all sides of this device. So first of all, we have our wireless charging. Put your phone on top, you're going to charge right away wirelessly. It's not the fastest way to charge your phone, but it's a useful way to keep your phone topped off, if you will. On the front of the device, we have 2 charging ports, both XT60 along with your balance leads. On each side, these are super handy. So it is another charging port, but it is either XT60 or XT30. Dealer's choice, and you got your balance board right here. You do get a power switch on this device, so it's super easy to turn it on and turn it off to save power without having to disconnect it from the wall outlet. I do really like this feature, more so than I would expect, but I think mine's probably going to end up being on most of the time, and I'll explain why in a little while. The other side of the device, we have another one of those handy dandy XT60, XT30 charging ports. And this is going to be your power supply. This is the XT90 style connector. And the input voltage that it will accept is from 7 volts to 30 volts. So basically 2S to 6S. I do really wish they had a wider voltage input. I do deal with some 12S batteries that I have XT90s on, and it would be really nice if for some of those giant Cinelifter type drones that have like 12S, 50 volts running through it with XT90 connectors to plug one of those bad boys in and charge all my FPV packs all day long. That is one thing that I do wish this had that it doesn't, unfortunately. But moving on, we have 2 USB ports depending on where in their documentation. This USB type A is either an 18 watt max or a 30 watt max. So I'm not sure what to tell you. It's a couple different things on a couple different spots on the website and manual. Manual says 30 watts, website says 18. We'll see what you get. Mainly for me though, I really like this USB-C 65 watt power adapter. This is PD65, and if you're not aware, what PD65 is going to give you is the ability to charge your MacBook. It's going to let you charge, this is my favorite thing to charge on it. It happens to be one of my favorite things these days, my ROG Ally. This is basically a Windows gaming PC in a handheld form. Great for traveling, and I might be doing something with a drone here with it pretty soon. I'll let you keep you guys updated on that. But that PD65 is all that device needs and keeps it charged. On recent trips, I have used this as one of my main charging things for both phone and laptop and the ROG Ally intermittently, just depending on what needed to be plugged in at the moment. When I was traveling internationally, I only had so many power adapters for the wall, and luckily this will run off of not only 110 volts, but also the 240 volts mains. So anywhere you go in the world, it's good to go. And if you get the right cable, you don't even need the adapter, but I just didn't have it. I had like the standard US cable. Now, before we get into the user interface, I want to talk a little bit about the build quality. The buttons are nice and clicky and tactile and do what they're supposed to do. I know how much I'm spinning the knob, etc. But the one thing that just kills me about these chargers, it's such a nice piece of kit, and they have the cheapest plastic on the front, and they send it with the screen protector, which I believe which I have on there. May have not done the most perfect job putting it on. It's a little bit lifted on this side and a little bit exposed on that side, but you can see it is scratched all. Let me just line it up with my light here so you can possibly make it out as best as possible. It is scratched all over the place. Now, this has traveled on multiple long trips with me, and ridden around in suitcases and luggage and sat on tables, and so you know, if you just are gonna have it sit on your table, then it's probably gonna be fine. But for me, it's already dinged up, and that's a little bit of a nuisance. The other thing that is, it doesn't matter, but I can't like stop thinking about it. Every time I go to pick this device up, my hands land. It's got these little grippies right here. My hands land right there. And when I pinch it there, I get a creak. Do you hear that? I'm gonna hold it up next to the mic. It's, you know what, now that I'm looking, it's literally only on one side. It's on the side with the power switch. And it just drives me nuts that it has that one body creak. It's a build quality issue. You know, this isn't like a $1,000 device, but it feels otherwise so much more like a tank. It's that one little body creak, and it just drives me nuts. Okay, enough complaining. Let's plug it in and show you what is to come. Now, when I plug it in right here, okay. Now, it's not even on. It's plugged in and not on because we've got that power switch. Now, as I turn it on, I want to show you guys two things. Number one, we get a nice boot screen. And here it comes, ta-da. And we load right into the user interface. Secondly, I want you to make a note of over our charging ports and around the front, there is an LED strip. This is one of my favorite features of this charger. Notice when it boots up, it comes on in red and blue. One of the nicest things about this charger is at a glance from across the room, you will be able to see what ports are charging and what ports are completely charged without even having to come and look at the screen. You can see it from across the room because of that little LED strip. It lights up in sections, and so there will be a section for each charger port that is on here, okay? Once we get into the user interface, across the top of the screen, there's various pieces of information about the power supply and the charger itself. On the top left, it shows you the input or supply voltage. If you're running off of the AC built-in power, that voltage is gonna vary depending on the load, but you will see it in the top left. Then we have the overall amps that are being drawn from the power supply, the watt hours that have been consumed since starting, and the current wattage. We have the internal temperature of the system. Right now it's at 33.6 degrees Celsius, and something about fans. Now the fans are on the back of it, and they are not all that loud, thankfully, for most of the operations that I have experienced. Yeah, it works just great. Now, I want to show you, there's a lot of customization that you can do on this charger. If we were to long press this back button, we'll go between two different displays. This is the default display that it comes with, and you can see for any given channel, you have your voltage of the battery, the amps that are being supplied, and we have the individual cell voltage. You can scroll and see the status of the charger. If I had a battery charging, it would also show the internal resistance on one of those pages, and then we can just click the back button to go from channel 1 to channel 2 to channel 3 to channel 4. I found this little guy. If you long press this channel and exit button, you come in to this screen. And I really like this screen a little bit more because at a glance, I can see the internal cell voltage of each of the batteries. You can still scroll through your standbys and your internal resistance. And then you just click the back button to scroll through which channel is selected. Before we get into the actual use of it, I do want to show you a couple more things about the user interface. So I'm going to long press here, and it's going to bring up some settings that we got. So we got input settings. If you have a if you're going off of DC power or a battery, I'm pretty sure that you can set your cutoff voltage as well. And there's a lot more customization that you can do. Because I am off of the power adapter, I can't really tweak this that much. I've not made an adapter to run it off of my DC power supply, as my intent with this charger is really a travel charger. But seeing as how much I've liked it, I'm probably going to end up building a DC power adapter and running it off of DC power to get a little bit faster charging overall. But for now, it's only on AC. So we got security settings where you can set the safe internal temperature limit, safe time. We can decide how long, if it's been charging a channel for over 200 minutes, it's going to auto shut off. This synchronous mode, I'm not sure exactly what the purpose of this mode is. I noticed, I'll show you later on one thing that it turns off. For me, I'm leaving it off. Continuous work means that if you charge a battery on this channel, it gets full, I unplug it and I plug another battery in, it would automatically start that battery on the setting selected. For me, I have too many different batteries, too many different settings. I can't assume that that is going to work out for me. When the work is completed, I want it to trickle charge because I'm never going to leave these batteries unattended. Once it's done, I'm going to be picking them up off of there pretty quickly. So I like for it to just keep them fully charged. Battery selection. So this is an interesting one. You can have up to, I believe, 32 presets like lithium polymer, automatic cell count with, 8 amps, and then so on and so forth with various amperage ratings. But I'm not sure if it's going to work out for me. I didn't use this at all on either trip, and then I was just reading the manual before I started recording, and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Like on my iCharger, I do have a couple of presets for like a full parallel board, etc. I feel like it might be useful, but if it looks like you're forced to choose one of those presets. I don't know, but the way I use the iCharger, I've got like 1 or 2 presets, and then the third one, I just vary. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing on this. I'll have like a full parallel board, a single like 1300 milliamp hour battery setting, and a goggle battery setting, and then one that I mess around with and change all over the place. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. It's decided. Backlight, I keep that on, it's on 6. It seems like 6 has been good for me. Oh, I can tweak it for the video. I'm gonna tweak it up for the video. Buzzer, I turn mine off. I don't want it to really beep at me. I like to just kind of glance at my charger and mess with it. Yeah, that's just me. Theme, you can make it dark or a bright screen, and look, it's blown out. You can't see anything. I like all my electronics to have dark stuff, so I go with the dark. You can reset all the defaults right there, and that's it for the setup. Pretty simple. Now, I am going to grab a battery and show you how the charging goes. Okay, perfect. Not fully charged and also not dangerously discharged. Good Lord, my batteries are struggling. I had everything charged before I came home. So once we have it plugged in, so once you click it, it's going to bring you up to this battery selection. This is my new favorite thing. I'm going to select new because I'm going to make one for my, these are the goggle packs that I like to use. The Thunder Power Adrenaline is the 2S 2P. They work great. It's a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. So we're going to bump this up to a 4 amp setting. Da, 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 da. We got 4 amps, and now we will have created a profile. So if I wanted to charge again at this, I could do it again. So I'm going to start it. Yep, Channel 3 charged to 8.4 volts. That is accurate. Click OK, and we're going. Now, the one thing I do like about this is immediately I have internal resistance numbers. That's one thing I also like better about my iCharger is there's a dedicated button to just take an internal resistance measurement. However, in lieu of having a dedicated button to make the measurement of internal resistance, the fact that it pops up immediately is huge for me. Periodically through the life of my batteries, I like to go through all of them and do an internal resistance check, and anything that is over a certain level, I will throw away. It's time to retire them. As long as it is within acceptable limits, I keep charging it and using it. Without getting into like where I make the cutoff, because I don't want to tell you, everybody's charging setup is different. Everybody's, needs from their battery are different. I have my personal preferences when it comes to that. But like I said, you've got your individual cell voltage, you have your internal resistance, and then I scroll one more time and it says charging, 4.2 volts finished at 4 amps, and it's taking 32 watts. Interesting. Yeah, 32 watts from the power supply. So if, as you can see at the top across the screen, it's saying that the power supply is delivering 32 watts. And if I had multiple channels going, you could see how much of that wattage is being driven by each of the individual channels. Now, for me, this charger on AC is more than enough. I am not... Back in the day when I was, going crazy, flying all day, every day, and making a video every night and charging the batteries, I probably would want this off of the power supply to get the max amperage. Right now, I have plenty of time to charge my batteries. I got a lot of other things going on in my life, and so this is more than enough on AC, I believe, 90% of the time. Now, I love this screen with all the selection, but that's not really where it ends. I want to show you something. All right, if I have I have channel 3 selected, the one that's charging, I can long press it, and I can stop channel 3, I can stop all of them, or I can adjust the current. I like those mid-charging adjustments, but even more so than the mid-charging adjustments is I like this feature right here. Let's say I have 2 batteries that are the same, or 4 batteries that are the same. Whatever the case may be, I go through the same motions. I click the button to go to charge. I got goggle batteries, so I select that profile that I just created for my goggle batteries. And now I can come over here and I can say, I've got goggle batteries hooked into channel 2 and channel 3. It's probably a little difficult to see the subtle difference. A channel that's not selected will be white. A channel that has been selected and enabled will be the color corresponding to it. It looks like we have like a brown for 1, blue for 2, green for 3, and purple for 4. I don't know who decided on these colors, but even if I had selected channel 3 initially, but I'm like, oh, I actually meant channel 2, I don't have to back all the way out. I can just select channel 2 instead of channel 3, or channel 1 for that matter. It doesn't matter. Once you're in the charging menu, you can select which channels you're gonna do. Now, the reason I mentioned the synchronous mode, and I'm really a little bit confused on what the purpose is, with it off, this is the behavior. I can select all or none of the channels. When I turn synchronous mode on, I can select some of the channels together and not other ones. So the manual for the Q6AC doesn't actually, that's weird. Now that synchronous is on, I can't select channel 3. Let's say I go to channel 2, and I do this. Can I then select channel 3? No, can't select channel 3 at all. Doesn't make any sense. I can select 1 and 4, but not 2. I can select 2 and not 1 or 4, but since there's a battery connected to 3, I can't select it at all. So because synchronous mode is not in the manual, and I'm really not sure what it is for, there's some mention about in the manual. Let me see what it's on the website. I'm sorry. It mentions the sync channel. I guess that's what it's talking about. Sync mode, channel 2 and 3, a max of 25 amps at 500 watts. It's really confusing how you enable this. ToolkitRC, please set me straight on how to use the synchronous mode to get these fast charging things. But as it stands, I am going to just run it with synchronous mode off and select the channels that I want when I want them. Now, the other thing is when I select to charge, this light goes from blue to red. So like I said, really easily, I can look across the room and see whether what channels have completed their charge versus what channels are still charging. With the screen that I have selected, it's really easy to monitor your charging. If you wanted to monitor the internal resistance, it's right there. The voltage is right there. Scroll through the channels. I've been really happy with this charger overall. I really can't think of anything else that I need to mention in terms of user interface. I talked about what I liked. I talked about what I didn't like. Hang on, before we bail on this. Oh yeah, I'm using my phone as a monitor to make sure everything's in shot. Drop the phone right here. If I bump it up to where the camera sits, it pretty much starts the wireless charging on its own every time. Ta-da! Every time, except the time when I'm pointing out how easy it is to line it up. Nothing ever works when you want to show people. Okay. Bam. And we're charging. Doesn't get any easier than that. The PD65 for my laptop on the road. This charger, when I'm traveling, was a game changer. Being able to charge my phone, my laptop. The PD65 will even run like your Pine Sol soldering irons. This could be your solder station power supply. The USB port for your phone, the USB-A port for your phone, that is. Wireless charging for your phone. It's able to charge all my devices on the road. I didn't take my laptop charging adapter. I only took this and then another device that's able to do like PD65, PD30, a bunch of other things with 4 USB ports. And between this and that 4 USB port, I was able to charge all of my things for all of both trips, and it worked out so well. I didn't carry like a dozen different charging adapters with me. It helped me keep my bag much lighter. So thank you so much for sending this to me, ToolkitRC. I'm really loving it, and I hope that this video has been helpful to you guys as well. All right, again, apologies that it took me so long to make the video, but I feel like at this point I have gotten a ton of testing out of this device, and I am confident in saying how great it is and how happy I am with it. Now that you've seen all the nitty-gritty, I think you know why this is going to be my main travel charger and has earned itself a place on my desk. Now, there's a lot to love about the Q6AC from ToolkitRC, and if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please leave a like. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? What is your main charger? What's working for you? What's not working for you? And please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all the things. Come back for more content. I've got a lot more work to do because I've been gone for too long, and I've got a backlog of things to try out. So I got new stuff from... No spoilers. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.